Stop the cap.
I have brought this point up several times, but I see based off of one of the comments that somebody responded with that I'm going to have to uh, articulate as clearly as possible my position on this. Professor Black Truth nor Black Authority actually support the Second Amendment. This is one of the problems that I have with the older generations. Okay, this is the problem I have with the Gen Xer black people and the Boomer black people, because both of them, I believe, are Gen Xers. Black Authority, I'm like 90% positive he's Gen Xer. These guys are like in their 50s. Okay? They're the type that's just on some have what you need. Okay? They don't care whether you got it legally or illegally. It doesn't matter. Have what you need. Which to me, with the majority of the states in this country being, what do you want to call it? Constitutional carry. It's lazy because it doesn't, if you can get your paperwork, get your paperwork. Now, see, a lot of black folks, they don't like to support the idea of getting your paperwork because it's conforming to the system too much, I guess, right? Instead of being covered. And so it doesn't fly with black people being rebels and revolutionaries, right? To have your paperwork, to go and fill out your 4473. And, so they want to like there's a lot of black men, when they talk about guns, they want to ride this funny ass freaking tightrope between being a law-abiding citizen and just being a criminal with illegal guns and just having your nuts out. And we don't have a healthy conversation about the Second Amendment and self-defense and dealing with, white supremacy, like Professor Black Truth, he runs around, power tools. Oh, make sure you have your steel, power tools. But he doesn't support an agenda or any sort of policy that supports the Second Amendment. This is the issue that I have. Because when you go into areas where black people predominate, right, especially in northern cities, where I believe at least Black Authority, I don't know if it's a Black Authority he's from, which one of them is like in New York or around New York or something like that. But in any event, I'm saying we already know what the gun policies are in New York. And if and you can mobilize black people will go up there, they will vote for gay shit. They will go up there and they will vote for feminist shit. Okay? And black people are always running around. Oh, white supremacy. Oh, they racist. Oh, the cops is racist. Oh, we need to protect ourselves. We love the rhetoric of arming ourselves, but we don't actually support the policies that allow black people to actually walk around armed. Then you get the people that they don't want the white supremacists to have guns, and they feel that we need more gun control because we don't want the white supremacists to have guns. So if we make it so that the laws are restrictive to where they can't have guns, then we don't need to have guns, which is a stupid ass idea. Because then you're defenseless, because you still got the criminal element in your community because you don't have black men that are gainfully employed, right? So you still got the narco economy in your community. You still got the gang violence in your community. So you just walking around in Lackatopia, with nothing but your ass. I know, because I grew up in the shit. I lived it. I know what the shit looks like. A massive amount of black people, live in major metropolitan areas. And when you get into these blue enclaves, they always talking about some fucking gun control. If it wasn't for white people in the South, black people wouldn't have gun rights. Because black people don't support gun rights. This is the damn irony of the shit. Where black people, they love to talk about the Second Amendment and the NFAC and Grandmaster Jay and we gonna exercise our Second Amendment right. Okay, show up at the polls to vote for this policy that relaxes gun laws so that you actually have access to the guns. And niggas fail every fucking time. Y'all fail every time. Like, and it pisses me off because it to me, it highlights the stupidity. Like, if you ever want to hear me support the white supremacists when they say black people have low IQs, all you gotta do is talk about the Second Amendment, and I will agree with the white supremacists goddamn near every fucking time. Because black people talk out of both sides of their face. They'll sit there, they'll talk revolutionary, fist in the air, Huey P. Newton, right? They'll talk NFAC, yeah, we're going to arm ourselves, and when the Ku Klux Klan comes, they're going to catch these hollows, right? Y'all talk that shit, but then when it comes to getting in the booth, and when it comes to policies, you know, it's nothing but the black female matriarchy and Stacey Abrams, and we're going to support some gay shit before we actually support being able to legally carry. We're lazy when it comes to the Second Amendment. We just ride the coattails. We like passively in the background, like let the white boys do all the work and support the Second Amendment. Like the white boys, they want to have the Second Amendment because they have their fantasies of eradicating black people, and you know we're the zombies, you know, and they're, you know, the warrior class, and they got to have guns to keep niggas in check, and they fantasize about what's going on in Chicago. They live in the middle of fucking Indiana somewhere way outside the city limits in cornfields and shit like that. They're like, if that King Von comes all the way out here, King Von ain't coming out there, nigga. King Von is not coming all the way out where you motherfucking live. You know what I mean? So they got all these fucking fantasies and shit. So they got their stupid reasons why they support the Second Amendment. But again, at least they support the shit. It's like the same thing with Christianity and white Jesus and shit. Black people turn the other cheek. White people praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Completely different philosophies, you know, when it comes to the advocating for the self-defense and protection and shit like that. Black people ain't serious. They're not fucking serious when it comes to the Second Amendment. Now, the young boys are serious, but the young boys, again, like it's just like naturally street shit. It's like nuclear escalation, right? You know, a boy turns 14, then somebody on the block, he got a gun. Now they gotta go get a gun because otherwise you out there just lacking and you ain't got no protection. I got a video I was going to address where there was a young 16-year-old boy that's crying because he doesn't have any, his mom took his gun away. I'm sure some of you have seen the video. I was going to make a video talking about it. I'll save it for later. But his mom took his gun away, and I was going to ask, you know, how do y'all feel about that shit? Because the boy only 16. But the reality is he got ops and all this other shit because that's what the YNs is on and all this other stuff, and everything escalated because of social media and the fact that, you know, you have this nuclear escalation. So you have some people who take the position, well, if we eliminate the guns, then, you know, nobody's going to have guns. It's a stupid idea because the guns are here. They've been here. There's 350 million in fucking circulation. Okay. And if a person's going to get a gun illegally, they're just going to get the gun illegally. You know, this idea that, you know, well, that's against the law. You know, where did you get that? Like the idea that actually means something in the moment, it don't mean shit. If they got it and you ain't got it, you're powerless in that situation. You know, which is another reason why I'm a strong advocate for, you know, for the Second Amendment. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they get too caught up in idealism and they don't focus on like what the situation is on the ground in real time. And I give more respect to the young men because the young men get it, because like they're actually out there, whether they in gangs, illegal and everything. Oh, why are you carrying a gun? Because I got ops, motherfucker. Because niggas out here will kill you. They will hop out and Swiss cheese your ass. I gotta have something, right? And I'm saying, think of the mentality of a young black man that's in the streets and he's worried about his fucking ops, right? He's ready for fucking war at all times. Now, let the rhetoric of the black leadership tell it. Oh, we at war with white supremacy. Oh, white supremacy is they're at the gates, right? This is what they say all the time. But are they preparing for war? Are they ready for war? As much as they talk about white supremacy is at the gates, right? How come they're not? How come the main people that talk about white supremacy, like white supremacy is the fucking boogeyman, like white supremacy is Baba Yaga, okay? How come they don't have the mentality as the same as the YNs? It doesn't make any sense. You're running around trying to fearmonger everybody into, oh my God, white supremacy. Oh, it's just the end. Oh, Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan. Oh, they're coming to get you. Right? Just like how on the right, they run around Charlie Kirk and everything. Oh, the black people. Oh, white people, be careful because the black people, they're coming to take your stuff. Right? Same shit. But I'm just saying, I'm like, can we at least be philosophically consistent? Can we be philosophically consistent? Right? If you're going to say that the big bad white supremacy is coming to get you, can you at least be prepared for that shit? Can you at least advocate and say, you know what? We see a lot of racism. We see a lot of police brutality. We see a lot of this. On the local level, we want every black, we're going to have classes on the weekends. We're going to have every black man out here armed and so on and so forth. No, y'all don't do none of that shit. On the weekend, no, I got Bible study on the weekend. We gotta have a prayer session. Niggas will sit there and waste their time praying to white Jesus the whole fucking weekend instead of taking a Second Amendment safety class or self-defense class and shit like that. But yet running around talking about, oh my God, there's so much white supremacy. Dylan Roof done walked up in the church and sprayed the bitch down. Ooh, I can't stand black people when it comes to the Second Amendment. It is the quintessential spot for me that screams low IQ. It just screams low IQ because, and it's weird, we got this weird relationship with the Second Amendment, right? Because we talk about, oh, this Pookie and Ray Ray, and they running around the community with the guns and this, that, and third, right? Then you got the educated niggas, oh no, I got that good job from Massa, so I don't want no trouble, so I don't believe in guns. I don't want a gun around me. I don't want a gun in the house because the black man with a gun equals danger, right? So they sound like the white supremacists when they think about themselves even exercising a gun. I got people in my own family that think like that. You know what I mean? They act like this shit is like a gun is an evil talisman and shit, and it just gonna jump up off the fucking table and float around. What movie was that? Was that the Golden Child with the knife, the evil knife that was like floating around stabbing motherfuckers? What movie was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they act like. Like it's like a gun is an evil fucking talisman with an evil spirit in it, some shit like that. And I know, like, I love the fact, I like the fact that we got Gorillas in the Mist over there on YouTube. We got Coley on the War. You know what I mean? We got, who else we got? What other, I don't like Black Rambo. I'm going to say that out loud. I don't like Black Rambo. I think the way he handles guns is extremely immature. It's a bad representation. It's just nigga shit. He's like Sambo with a gun. I don't like Black Rambo and how he gets down. I just don't. It's immature. It just dumb. You know what I mean? Grown ass man and just acting like he's fucking 15 years old and just discovered gun. I don't like that shit. You know what I mean? I like the more mature, nuanced details. How do you pack your luggage and get your gun through the TSA and all that shit? That's what I like. Okay. But I mean, there is a gap between the older generation and the younger generation. And I understand why there's a gap because for a very long time in this country, prior to 1986, there was no concealed carry. Like my father told me, it was the only people who had guns were police officers and criminals, and that was it. That's all that it was. If you had a gun, you were into some shit. What do you need that for? Right? Which makes no sense. I mean, we went from deacons of defense to what do you need that for? Like that shit's just crazy to me. And then on the internally, when you want to talk about the black community and you want to talk about crime in the community, you know what I mean? If people want to talk about people moving back in or coming back into the community or whatever, the upstanding, educated people or whatever, they can't go in there defenseless. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing is just a hot mess in terms of how we view the Second Amendment, and especially when it comes to how we vote, when it comes to the polls. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never going to see black people as a collective go out there and vote for gun rights. We don't vote for gun rights. On top of the fact, you got the fact that the black community is a matriarchy. Old black women are going to all vote, no, we don't like guns. We don't want no guns. Even though the crazy thing is black women what was it? What was the whole thing? When Trump got elected the first time, black women were the number one group that was purchasing firearms. They had the highest rate of firearms ownership. But yet and still, Democrats can go up there and talk about gun control, and you can go all over the internet, all over social media, and if it's a black person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be right there talking about, we need sensible gun control. That's what most black people are on from a cultural standpoint. And these will be the same motherfuckers that turn right around talking about America's so racist, and these crackers is racist, and white supremacy and racist. And they coming to get us. Oh, and here's another example of white racism. And here's another example. And the white people, and they did this, and they told that, and they trying to regulate black people, and they trying to do this and do that, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, and then people be in the comment section talking about, and that's why black people, you need to get yourself a gun. So why didn't you vote that way? Why didn't you vote that way? Why didn't you tell the Democrats, take the goddamn gun control off the fucking table because we need that shit because these white folks is fucking crazy? Why didn't you take that shit off the table? No, but it never fucking happens. It never fucking happens. It's always you be sitting in the barbershop, old niggas with gray beards, Gen X's up there. Oh, we need some gun control. These young niggas out here, though, they crazy. These young black men, they looking up at the TV, looking at the news. Man, shit, man, you see that shooting out there in South Philly? Man, shit, the niggas is crazy. That's why we need to get these guns off the street. That's all they talk about. That's all. It's a fucking Band-Aid for a much bigger problem. They see young black men with guns and they shoot at each other. We're not going to talk about the CIA Iran Contras. We're not going to talk about a freaking deindustrialization of America. We're not going to talk about young black men not being gainfully employed. Right? We're not going to talk about how property taxes pay for schools and how inner city schools are underfunded. Right? We're not going to talk about, fathers in the home, and mentorship. We're not going to talk about any of those things. All we're going to say is, man, we need to get them guns out of their hands. That's what we need to do. Right? A quick fist. There's so many other factors that go into that. There's so many other factors that go into that, and it all gets ignored. I could do the same thing in the white community, right? Because look at the white community now. White community, oh my God, guns. Oh my God, he brought a gun to school. Do you know that white people used to go to school and they would have a pickup truck and they would have the gun on the gun rack where you could see it through the back window of the truck and nobody touched it? Nobody was thinking, oh, I'm going to take that gun and I'm going to go shoot my bully in school and I'm going to kill the whole classroom. Nobody was thinking that. So what happened in the white community where guns was just whatever? We're going squirrel hunting after we leave school today. We're going to go down to the river on some sandlot bullshit, right? To now, you know what I mean? You can't have a gun anywhere near a fucking campus. Right? And I think it has a lot to do with social media. I think it has a lot to do with the attention that people get, the instant, you have people who, they're nobodies and they feel like low and and they're insecure, and then it's like, oh, if I do this and I crash out, then I get to be, I get to be famous. They're gonna see my face. I get to be immortalized, on the TV screen, and they're gonna be studying. Oh, I gotta make sure I leave behind a manifesto as my final thoughts to share to the world, and I'm gonna upload it to the internet. That changed everything. You couldn't do that back in the day when the dude was shooting from the fucking bell tower in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got to get into his mind and shit like that. Right? So now, if you're nobody and you want to be famous, then crash out. Right? So that's the problem that's going on in the white community. But you see how I put nuance on that? You see how there's more to it than just, get rid of the guns and then we won't have a problem. No, you still have a psychological issue within the society with young white men today. You still have that problem. You know what I mean? But when it comes to black people in the Second Amendment, Professor Black Truth, go and again, let me be crystal clear when I say that. They advocate for black people being armed. They don't advocate for policy. For policy. I want to be crystal clear when I say that. So don't be writing no dumb bullshit in my comment section talking about they support this. No, the fuck they don't when it comes to policy. They're not going to go out there and tell black people you should vote this way or not vote this way unless they put a bill that has this on it for black people to be armed in such and such a way to protect ourselves from the system of white supremacy. You ain't going to see them advocate for that. And I've caught them red-handed several times. I'm like, oh yeah, I hear you talking about all this. Oh, we should vote this way or not vote that way. The Democrats behind the glare and Donald Trump, the racist is over there and da 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 da. Oh, and the white supremacists. Oh, look what happened to Plano Castile and da da da. Okay, yeah. So when it comes to black people being armed and being able to protect themselves, where's the advocacy? Even if it was just local at the local level, we know that the fucking New York laws are draconian as fuck. But where is black anybody talking about we need to relax these gun laws in New York, so that black men can protect themselves and not only from the system of white supremacy, but even when it comes to, the YNs running around the black community and whatnot, because nobody can respond to them in real time. It takes time for the police to get there. Right? If you got a business and you trying to have businesses in the black communities and some YNs come in there, you know what I mean? And you firing shots back. See, that's a different story there. Because now you have the leadership in the black community or the men, the grown men in the black community that are now out there defenseless. But y'all act like y'all gonna go out here and we got, some of these individuals that are savages and that you're going to go out there with some fucking words and nothing but your ass. Like these young niggas ain't going to blow you the fuck away. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no, like at the end of the day, you got to have some teeth. You got to have some teeth out here. Not this bullshit that you're going to come through with the sweet twinkle and the buttery goodness of Jesus. You know what I mean? And you going to touch a YN on the fucking forehead and all of a sudden he going to put down the guns and stop the violence. Oh, I can't stand you old black people. Oh, I can't stand you and your levels of failure. I can't stand you motherfuckers. God, just unrealistic, just magical as fuck. Can't stand you mother with your unrealistic everything. Just everything is fucking unrealistic. Y'all motherfuckers can't do no goddamn math. You don't understand the reality of fucking violence out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? You just don't understand it. Just like, and it's like, and you don't even learn. Like, it reminds me of like even Captain Solo that I highly respect. You know what I mean? He was a big advocate of open carry. And I used to argue against it. I'm like, why are you giving up your tactical advantage with open carry? You're not intimidating anybody. He really had it in his mind that, motherfuckers recognize like, well, shit, he's carrying, man, leave him. I'm like, that's not how YNs think. YNs think like, yeah, nigga, I'm gonna get this piece off of him and I'm gonna hand it to my homie. So you walking around, and then you're not going to draw on a drawn gun. And then I had to send him a bunch of clips it was a off-duty cop, and he was in uniform. And this is in Detroit, and the motherfuckers, it was 3 black dudes. They ran up on him and tried to get the fucking gun off of him. And after he saw that, he was done with the open carry. I was like, and he was like, and he basically apologized. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And we talked about it because it rolled into the whole, I'm like, why ends today are on anybody can get it. It doesn't matter that you got a badge or you think you a fucking authority or whatever. Anybody can get it. It's a totally different mentality. And then when we talked about that even further about, the respecting your elders and all this other shit. And I'm like, and Cap, he's got his position on it where respect was just given. And I'm like, my generation and younger, the attitude is, if I ain't eating off of you, if you ain't breaking bread with me, if I'm not dependent on you like that, I don't get loans, I don't get economic opportunities, I don't get shit from, why the fuck do I gotta respect you? That's the mentality of millennials on down. There is no automatic respect because motherfuckers were not given anything. They weren't given an opportunity or nothing like that because they didn't ask to be brought here. You know what I mean? It's the same dynamic that goes on when we want to talk about why we're not getting respect from women and shit like that. It's the same thing when it comes to younger black men. You know what I mean? That they know that the motherfucking police are white. They know that you don't run the community. They know that you don't run the banks. They know that you don't run the grocery stores. They know that you don't run any of the businesses in the community. You know what I mean? They know that shit. The only motherfuckers that they actually respect are other violent motherfuckers in the community. People who got real deep ties and real deep connections and got goons and shooters. That's it. If you ain't that, them niggas don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. You can talk about Jesus all day. You can talk about the Bible you can talk about that shit all day. Niggas don't give a fuck about that. They ain't scared of death. They ain't scared of Satan. They ain't scared of Dante's Inferno. They ain't scared of none of that shit. Many of them are fucking suicidal by cop. They don't give a fuck. They're waiting. They're waiting to go out in the blaze of glory. So be it. Because their attitude is, that their life is miserable and it is what it is. And I was watching a video of a dude. He was talking to his mom or something. And he was talking about all he cares about is hats. Catching hats, basically catching bodies. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is on some real demon time. But that's what happens when you exist in prolonged exposure to poverty. That's what happens when you don't have any stability. I need the old people to understand that these young people grew up with absolutely no structure and no stability in their life because the men that came before them either couldn't do the right thing or didn't do the right thing. It doesn't matter which one it is. That's the outcome. It doesn't matter how I didn't mean for it to happen. It don't matter. The fact of the matter is they don't have that. And I just watching the video, some white girl, she was talking about the shit, with how fucked up Gen Z is because, they didn't have a normal transition into adulthood because of fucking COVID. So they didn't have a prom, they didn't have a fucking normal graduation, they didn't have a normal 4 years of college. None of it was normal. So now you got all these people that got all these social deficits and whatnot. You know what I mean? And that's going to take time to correct that shit because that's not normal. So, when it comes to, the black community and guns and everything, we got a really fucked up dynamic with guns in the black community. And we refuse to have a conversation about that. Black women running around. The black woman is not protected. Protect you with what, bitch? Protect you with what? Most black women, they don't even want a gun in their house. Going back to that clip of the young man and the situation, with his mom taking his gun away and he got ops. In my opinion, she need to give him his gun back because if he's that deep in the streets, your son's going to end up dead. Which goes into why people, send their kids to their grandparents living 5 states away and shit like that, which is the other alternative. But then I'll talk about that in the other video talking about whether the father, where's the father in the picture and all this other shit. I got a whole video talking about that. I'll save that so that this video is not redundant. But no, they don't support the Second Amendment in the manner in which you think that they do. And most black people don't support the Second Amendment through policy. We only support the Second Amendment in spirit. And there's a problem with that. There's a problem with that because there's, I don't know what it is. It's like it's a fear, or it's like some sort of like we're not real Americans, or we can't exercise the Second Amendment like white folks do. It's a weird dynamic with the Second Amendment and black people. Where we just lazily just piggyback off of, okay, well, then that's the law. And if it wasn't the law, by the same token, there's more black men that will ride around dirty than white men who would ride around dirty. That's the funny thing, right? Because so technically speaking, black people believe in protection and the Second Amendment, if we want to call it that, right? Black men believe in that shit more than white men do. Because black men don't give a fuck whether it's the law or not. But personally, I think that's the wrong approach. I think it's the wrong approach. And then you have the whole other issue where, it's like that whole black men with gun equals criminality, because on the flip side, yes, white men are racist and they're on their racist bullshit. However, how often do they come across, black men that are not in the streets and also strongly support and exercise the Second Amendment? There's a lack of familiarity inside and outside the community when it comes to the Second Amendment. Like when you go to in Pennsylvania, they got it's called the Oaks. The Oaks is like a big expo in like middle of Pennsylvania. I think it's not by Harrisburg. I forget where the Oaks is. You know what I mean? But you go out, a lot of people go to the Oaks, and there's a big ass expo building, and they have a big ass gun show there. And they have it the Oaks is it's like every 3 months, I want to say, that they have like a new thing there, right? And yeah, it's overwhelmingly, yes, it's a majority white country, but it's overwhelmingly white people there. Only over the last couple of years I started seeing more black people, at the gun shows. And I'm gonna be honest, man. Most of the white, I got a video. I did a video interview where I walked around the Oaks. Just type in, just type in gun show. And when you go to that little magnifying glass, and you'll see it. I walked around the gun show and I was talking to people and shit like that. But I'm saying, asking why black people don't support the Second Amendment like that. And I got some, some intelligent, responses and whatnot. But I'll say, when it comes to the white people at the gun show, and don't get me wrong, white people will smile in your face and, they don't think the highly of niggas for nothing. However, I can't say that white people are rude or that they're not pleasant. Because there's white people, they want to see more minorities support the Second Amendment because they feel that the attacks on the Second Amendment cannot just be fought with just white people. There are white people who feel like that. You know what I mean? But generally speaking, white people are very friendly when you go to the gun show because they don't see a whole bunch of black faces. And when they see black faces, they're like, oh, these are some new people. They don't, okay, they're getting into the Second Amendment. And many of them do think if I can get them into the Second Amendment, then I can get them to lean a little bit more Republican. Right? And I'm not talking about MAGA Republican. I'm just talking about Republican in general and not supporting Democrats and therefore not supporting gun control, because many of them are one issue voters. So there's complexities there. There's a nuance there. You know what I mean? I don't know what I've been meaning to make a video about all this fucking binary thinking I keep seeing online or in these comment sections. Like two things can't be true at once. Like you can't hold two ideas, in your head at the same time You know what I mean? Or like 75% of one and 25% of another, or 60% of one and 40% of another. Like, I don't know what is with all this fucking binary thinking that I see online, this all or none bullshit. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's annoying. It's annoying when motherfuckers come in there and see the shit. Just like I said with addressing, you know, these damn Africans with their the tether babble and anti African American, you know, bullshit. You know, just acting like, oh, it's all or none. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, dude, you know this shit goes on. I said right at the beginning of the video, it's not all, but this is something that we've been noticing and we're calling it the fuck out. Instead of just acknowledging, acting like, oh, it's just all or none. Oh, well, FBAs, let me tell you about yourself. You know, just babble. You know what I'm saying? Just immature shit. Can't move the football forward down the fucking field because motherfuckers want to be on some all or none shit. So the conversation can't move forward. Anyway. But yeah, no, they don't support the Second Amendment. They're just advocates for black people to defend themselves by any means necessary, which for me personally, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I want to see some black people support some goddamn policies, goddamn it. I don't care what party it is. I want to see some policies. And again, to me, the litmus test for just how much power black people don't have within the DNC is that the DNC cannot win elections without black people, yet black people don't have the balls, the gall, the fortitude to tell Democrats to take gun control off the table because we need that shit because there's, you know, too much racism, white supremacy going around, and to be able to protect ourselves internally within our own communities since Democrats aren't addressing the economic realities of our own communities, which leads young men down the path of self-destruction. So when it comes to, you know, the black people and the Democrat Party, I'm like, nah, I want to see some policy. I want to see no, Democrats, y'all going to have to get off that because we actually do support the Second Amendment, contrary to popular belief. But then we have the other issues because fucking, you know, the black community is a matriarchy, right? And we don't have enough patriarchal, gainfully employed black men. So therefore, what are black men protecting if they're not protecting their community, right? See, white men, when they talk about the Second Amendment and guns, they're talking about protecting their community. They're talking about protecting their wives and their children and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, in the black community, only 29% of black women are married. You see? So when it comes to, you know, having that sense of ownership, pride, you know, patriarchal concept about your community, the black community doesn't even fucking support or advocate for that. So then you just get single moms and YNs, and that's the black community. And then you got, you know, the black men that should be the ones representing, you know, sensible, you know, armed, protecting type black men in the community. You know, they're just like the rare minority. You know what I mean? Either that or they're just completely over the fence. You know, so it's a whole fucking problem because the way that you feel about the Second Amendment the way that you feel about the Second Amendment is reflected by the type of community that you have, the stability of the community that you have. The more you have intact homes, the more you have something to fight for. And the more you're going to have people that are going to be like, hey, I'm the last line of defense when it comes to protecting my family or my household or my community. You know what I mean? But that doesn't exist in the black community because the black community is fucking role reversed and matriarchal. So, anyway, I'm done with my rant. That's my video, SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.
On the scene, diamond blingy, whole screen. Checkerboard, Louis V. I'm so fresh and so clean. Stuff them bands in my jeans. Slap them 30s in them things. Pull the trigger, let it sing. Then go smoke a Russian cream.
Boo, hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where you at?
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We out.